Hey, Scott Haug here, and welcome into video number 4 of our Money on the Beach series. Today we have this wonderful beach behind us, a little bit more of a cloudy day, larger waves today. We're actually just out there on the boogie board, riding those waves right in. It was pretty amazing. Today we're going to be talking about identity shift, and when you shift your identity, you're going to be able to manifest a lot more money in, what that's going to look like for you, and how you can do it as well. If you haven't watched video number 1, 2, and 3 in the series yet, definitely make sure you do so. There are some secret money tips in there you're definitely going to want to watch. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. So shifting your identity is a core aspect of all personal development. I'm sure you've heard of it before, shifting your self-image, shifting who you are and what you believe in, right? But your identity is everything when it comes to money. If you don't identify with yourself as always having a lot of money, and you always identify yourself as having a lackful amount of money, you never have enough, your bank account isn't full enough, if you will, can't pay the bills, or you can pay the bills, you're doing well, but you're never in access, you're never in abundance. The reason for that is your identity. You're fusing and tuning into a reality where you are the person who always has lackful circumstances, or not enough coming in, or a lot of clients saying no, prospective clients saying no, right? This means everything, because who we are and what identity we fused into is how we're going to see the world around us. That's all the circumstances around us, the conditions and situations. So for example, many years ago, I identified with only having $1,000 all the time in my checking account. That was a normal thing. That's kind of how I learned that $1,000 in a checking account is a lot of money. I identified with somebody who never had more of that money in my account. I identified more with, once you have more $1,200, $1,400 in your account, move it directly over to a savings account. You shouldn't have that much in your checking account. That would be an example. It's a micro identity within the overarching identity in the actual belief side and the thought side, right? So there was a part of me that believed I should only have this much in my bank account. So that led me to circumstances manifesting like amounts all the time in my account. Even if I got a $5,000 client, even if I got a huge amount of money out of nowhere, unexpected in my checking account, seemingly that money would be gone the next day, the next week, the next month, whatever it was. It's like I would have 1,000, then I would have 5,000, and then it seemed like circumstances were always there. I had to pay a bigger bill. I got myself involved in a new adventure that maybe cost some more money. I had to do this thing, whatever it was, right? Unexpected circumstances would pop in. It seemed like this was all out of control. It just seemed like, well, I could never get ahead because these circumstances, right? But that's actually not true. I couldn't get ahead because my identity was somebody who always had $1,000 in the checking account. So what I literally had to do was, as soon as I had more money in the account, I had to start telling myself and walking myself through some self-talk to say, I am now somebody who has $5,000 in my checking account at all times. I am now somebody who blank, right? That doesn't mean it instantly switches, but I started to become familiar in my imagination with having more money in my account. I would give myself reasons on why that's good, why I should have more money in the account, why it's not actually good to have only $1,000 in the account. I should always have $5,000, so I have abundance and access funds to use them when needed, or to help loved ones, or to help myself in those cases, right? So what you want to do for yourself as well is start to get more familiar with larger amounts of money. Then when I went to 5,000, it was like 10,000. 10,000 seemed like a lot of money to always have in my checking account, right? And then you go to 20,000, 40,000, $50,000, right? You start to become more and more familiar. It becomes a standard. It becomes an expectation. And whatever you're holding, expectation-wise, I promise you is going to start to reflect on the circumstances. You're always going to have the right amount of clients come in per month to make sure you're ahead. You're always going to have the right results come in to make sure you're at that number or more, right? Our standard, our self-image is like a thermostat. You might have heard something like this before. Like if you had a house and you set that thermostat to 72 degrees, for example, and it's summertime, and you let all the windows open, you put open all the doors, that temperature is going to climb 73, 74, 75, right? Your furnace is going to kick on, your AC unit's going to kick on, and it's going to read, oh, we're well over the 72 mark. We need to bring it back to 72. So it's going to kick on the AC, it's going to pump it right into the house to lower it to 72, right? Vice versa. 72 degrees and you're living in a very cold place, right? It's snowing outside and you put open all the windows, all the doors, it's going to drop 71, 70, 69, 68, 67, right? And thermostat is going to read, kick on the furnace, we better heat up the place, right? So this thermostat idea is just like our self-image. It's just like our standard and who we are. Same thing goes with money. So we want to change our identity to allow that thermostat to kick on or kick off. So again, if you're used to and familiar with $10,000 in your checking account, if you get to $15,000, guess what? You're going to bring it back to $10,000 unconsciously. If you're at $7,000, you're going to attract circumstances to bring you back up to $10,000, right? So this $10,000 mark is the average mark, the standard, your inner expectation. And when you have that inner expectation, all of the things around you are energetically going to move towards you to allow that to actually unfold in that way. So shifting your identity, very important. Again, how do you do it? You want to become familiar. Do this for 7 days straight, every night, every morning. You're going to start visualizing yourself with more money in your checking account. $10,000, $5,000, $100,000, whatever it is. Get familiar with the money. See yourself having over that. See yourself actually transferring the money into a savings account, an investment account, doing something with the money if you're over that $10,000, right? And if you're under that $10,000, visualize yourself getting a new client to bring you back over the $10,000 mark, okay? So you familiarize yourself with the new identity. That doesn't mean you're just going to become that person overnight, though. Sometimes it does happen if you really sink and tune into it right away. But you want to go ahead and sink into it so much that over a time span, you start to feel you're that person. It feels natural to be that person. When it feels natural, and next logical step is going to happen in your life. You're going to see things actually attracting in to allow you to be that and actually see circumstances that are attuned into this new reality, this new identity. So I hope this makes sense. In the comments below, keep yourself accountable. Do the exercise for 7 days straight, every morning, every night. Roughly 5 to 10 minutes is a good idea. Familiarize yourself with more money. Start to become that identity in your imagination before it's real on this physical plane, if you will, and you'll start to see that goodness unfold for you. All right? Try it out for the next 7 days, but again, make sure it's 7 days at least. So if you do 8 days, 9 days, 10 days, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, great. At least 7 days to see the change, because it's going to take time for yourself to actually accept that you're this new identity. And you need time to give it to absorb that energy, align with that energy, and tune in with that energy. Okay? Try for 7 days straight in the comments below. Keep yourself accountable. If you haven't already, again, subscribe to the channel and throw a like on the video also. And we'll see you over in the next video on our Money on the Beach series.